lecturer in mechanical engineering, GMRP Utnar. In the previous video session, we have discussed the iron carbon diagram, the basic points of iron carbon equilibrium diagram, and this is the second video session on the iron carbon equilibrium diagram. So in the previous video session, what we have discussed was, we discussed about the three phases present in the left side of the equilibrium diagram, that is the alpha iron phase, and then the gamma iron phase, and then the delta iron phase. And we also discussed that alpha iron, that is ferrite, is a soft material, and it is a ductile material, and also we discussed it is of BCC crystal structure, whereas gamma iron is further ductile material than alpha iron, but the crystal structure is FCC. So basically, metals which have FCC crystal structure is more ductile than BCC crystal structure. The reason behind this is very clear, that we discussed the packing factor, about the packing factor of the atomic packing factor in the previous video sessions, that the more packed crystal structure will have more slip planes. The more the slip planes we have, the more the ductility. So therefore, alpha iron, when we compare with gamma iron has the more ductility than alpha iron. So therefore, in all these three phases, that is alpha iron, delta iron and gamma iron has more ductility than alpha iron, that is ferrite or delta iron. So now we also discussed three isothermal lines. The first isothermal line is about eutectoid reaction, and the second isothermal line is about the eutectic reaction, and the third isothermal line is of pertectic reaction. In pertectic reaction takes place at 1493 degrees centigrade, that is when one liquid plus, that is molten iron, plus one solid, that is delta iron, is cooled at 1493 degrees centigrade, then new solid is formed. The new solid formed is called as austenite, and when the disappearing of liquid and molten iron gives rise to a new solid iron, that is gamma iron, is called as pertectic reaction. This we have discussed, and we also discussed when one liquid, that is molten iron, on cooling gives two solids, that is gamma iron, that is austenite, plus cementite, is called as eutectic reaction. And when one solid, that is gamma iron, that is austenite, is cooled to give two solids, that is ferrite plus perlite, two phases or two solids, then that reaction is called as eutectoid reaction. So this we have discussed. So now we also discussed taking an example of 0.8% carbon, that when uh, uh, iron containing 0.8% carbon, a portion of carbon or portion of iron follows the left line and portion of the iron follows the right line at the eutectoid point. That is, the left side indicates the declining in the solubility of carbon, and it gets to almost negligible at 910 degrees centigrade, and the right line, which joins at 1147 degrees centigrade at 2% carbon, that is the maximum solid solubility of carbon. We call that as the maximum solid solubility of carbon in gamma iron is 2.14% or 2.11%, or roughly we can say it is 2%. That is the maximum solid solubility of carbon in gamma iron, that is in austenite, is 2%. Whatever we do, the solubility cannot exceed more than 2% or 2.14%. In the same way, these are the new topics that we are discussing in this video session. The maximum solid solubility of carbon in alpha iron is 0.025%. The maximum solid solubility of carbon in alpha iron, that is in ferrite, is 0.025%, whereas the maximum solid solubility of carbon in gamma iron, that is in austenite, is 2%, you can say roughly, or 2.11, or in some books it is given as 2.14%. So that is it. The maximum solid solubility of carbon in delta iron. The maximum solid solubility of carbon in delta iron is 0.1%. That is, at high energy level, though it is BCC, though delta iron crystal structure is BCC, though the crystal structure of alpha iron is BCC, the maximum solid solubility of carbon in FCC, in alpha iron, is 0.025% for BCC crystal structure, and for the same BCC crystal structure at high temperatures, that is the reason why it is named as delta iron. It is the primary with same crystal structure, secondary phase of BCC crystal structure. So therefore, the maximum solid solubility of carbon in delta iron is 0.1%. So the new topics that what we discussed here is, in this video session, is the maximum solid solubility of carbon in alpha iron is 0.025%, and the maximum solid solubility of carbon in austenite, in that is gamma iron, is 2.11% or 2.1%, and the maximum solid solubility of carbon in delta iron is 0.1%. Now, let us see what is the phase present. Let us see the phases now at different locations. The phases that are at the left hand side is alpha iron, gamma iron, delta iron. Now the area that is present between the delta iron and the liquid phase is liquid plus delta iron, that is the region above the protectic isothermal line. Protectic isothermal line, the portion between point M, A and B, the area the region between M, A and B and P is nothing but liquid plus delta iron zone. And the point I can clearly explain you with another diagram. Let me show you. Yes, the top left portion. So the point between A, B, P and M, the area under A, B, P and M is between the phase liquid phase and delta iron phase. So therefore it is called as two phase region, that is we have both liquid phase and solid phase in this region. Two phases present in this region. And coming to the next side portion, the area between the gamma iron phase and the liquid portion is gamma plus liquid, that is gamma iron plus liquid molten iron. So here we have two phases, that is the region between P, B and the eutectic point and the 2% carbon area is liquid plus gamma iron zone. So we have two phases present here. So one phase is between A, B, P and M, and the other phase is between P, B and 4.3% carbon and 2% carbon. So that is another phase. And coming to the eutectic reaction, at 4.3% carbon we have 100% lead burite. Lead burite is nothing but it is the microstructure of lamellar phases of gamma iron and cementite. Whereas perlite is nothing but it is the combination alternate layers of alpha iron and cementite, whereas lead burite is the alternate layers, lamellar layers of gamma iron and cementite is nothing but lead burite. So with eutectoid reaction we will get perlite, with the eutectic reaction we get lead burite. So are both the metals are very important in the study of ferrous metals. So what are the phases that we have come across so far? In the left portion we have come across pure only alpha iron, and then gamma iron, then delta iron. Then at the top left we got liquid plus delta iron, then here gamma plus liquid iron, and the top right left is again cementite plus liquid. This is also two phase region where we have cementite plus liquid, that is cementite is nothing but iron carbide, Fe3C plus liquid. So one is gamma plus molten iron and the other one is cementite plus molten iron. So that is the difference. Now we have covered all the phases. Alpha iron phase we have covered, gamma iron phase we have covered, delta iron phase we have covered, the presence of delta iron and how the delta iron is formed, and then we have discussed the delta iron plus liquid, gamma iron plus liquid, liquid in the sense molten iron, and then molten iron plus cementite, that is Fe3C. So these are the phases present at various levels. So above the 1147 degree centigrade, on the left hand side we have gamma iron plus molten metal, and the right hand side we have molten metal plus cementite. So these are the differences. So now let us see the microstructures, because the mechanical properties changes with the microstructure. So if you can see the microstructures of the iron here, you see clearly. Yeah. So in the diagram it is shown that pure alpha iron is shown and pure gamma iron structure is shown, and eutectoid structure is also shown. The structure of alpha iron and gamma iron is almost the same, except the grain structure is coarse, whereas in the gamma iron, and it is fine in the ferrite iron. So this region between 400 to 910 degrees centigrade, it is shown as 912, but it is 910 degrees centigrade. Here it is alpha iron phase, and how the microstructure is seen, the top microstructure, that is gamma iron, and this first horizontal line is called as A1 line, and from 723 degrees centigrade to 910 degrees centigrade, the line passing from 723 degrees centigrade to 910 degrees centigrade is A2 line, and the line passing from 0.8% to 2% carbon is called as ACM line, and the line passing from 0.8% carbon to 910 degrees centigrade is A3 line. We have A1 line, A2 line, A3 line and ACM line. These are very important nomenclature representation to be remembered. A1 line is the first isothermal line, A2 is the line, the solubility line from 0.025 to 90, that is 910 degrees centigrade, that is A2 line, and A3 line is from 0.8% carbon to 0% carbon at 920 degrees centigrade is A2 line, and ACM line is the line, that is the solubility line, that is from 0.8 to 2.11% is called as ACM line. So these representations are very important during the heat treatment process. We have to remember all these representations. So the microstructure, what we can see, and you can also see the microstructure of lead burite. This is gamma iron, and above this line it is only liquid. So when we come from the top, now let us see what happens when we come from the top. Take molten iron and put any amount of carbon present in it, any amount of carbon. So now carbon is there and iron is there, and iron is in the molten state. Now when we come down, the solubility of carbon increases with the top liquidus line, that is the solubility increases as we decreases the temperature from 1539 degrees centigrade to 1123 degrees centigrade or 1143 degrees centigrade. As we come slowly reduce the temperature, so the solubility is very much increased. That shows the 1539 degrees centigrade to 1123 degrees centigrade at 4.3% carbon. And at this point we have another classification. Carbon contains more than 2% carbon and less than 4.3% carbon comes under hypoeutectic cast irons. They are called as hypoeutectic cast iron. And the carbon containing more than 4.3% carbon and the iron containing less than 6.67% carbon are called as hypereutectic cast irons. I repeat, irons containing more than 2% carbon and less than 4.3% carbon are called as hypoeutectic cast irons, and the carbon containing and irons containing carbon more than 4.3% and less than 6.67% carbon are called as hypereutectic cast irons. In the same way, we have discussed carbons containing less than iron containing carbon less than 0.8% are called as hypoeutectoid steels, and carbon containing more than 0.8, iron contains carbon more than 0.8% and less than 2% are called as hypereutectoid steels. So this is the difference here. These are the only classification, how steels are classified. So steels are classified based on the eutectoid point, and the cast irons are classified based on the eutectic point. Very important. So how steels are classified? Steels are classified based on the eutectoid point, and cast irons are classified based on the eutectic point. How? If the carbon content is less than 0.8%, then they are called as hypoeutectoid steels, and if the carbon is more than 0.8% and less than 2% are called as hypereutectoid steels, and if the carbon content is more than 2% and less than 4.3%, then they are called as hypoeutectoid cast irons, and if the carbon content is more than 4.3% and less than 6.67%, they are called as hyper eutectic cast irons. So this is the classification. So here we have a mixture of lead burite, and if the now let us discuss the phases present in this region, that is between the ACM line and the A1 line and the extreme right vertical line. So the phases present here. The phases present here are: the carbons contain more than 0.8% and between 4.3%. Then above A1 line, the phases that are present here are austenite and lead burite, lead burite and cementite, and whereas here cementite and lead burite. This is the difference. I repeat, the phases present in this region is austenite plus lead burite, no cementite, cementite is not present in this region. Only austenite and lead burite is present, whereas carbon containing more than 4.3% and less than 6.67%, lead burite and cementite is present. That is the difference. And whereas here carbon content in so in one point we can say like this, for crystal clear clarification, we can classify like this: in hypoeutectic cast iron, the phases present above 723 degrees centigrade are austenite plus lead burite, and more than 4.3% carbon steels, what we have is lead burite plus cementite. So these are the phases present there, and the phases present here are: carbon content less than 0.8% will have perlite plus ferrite, and whereas more than 0.8% and less than 2% are perlite plus cementite, because this vertical line indicates a cementite line. So therefore the carbons contain steels contains less than 0.8% carbon will have at room temperature ferrite plus perlite, and the steels containing more than 0.8% carbon and less than 2% carbon is perlite plus cementite. So this is the classification. So these are the phases present at the room temperature at the left bottom, and above the A1 lines, austenite plus lead burite in the hypoeutectic cast irons, and cementite plus lead burite in hypereutectic cast irons, and below the A1 lines we have cementite and the whatever austenite that is transformed into alpha iron, and whatever lead burite remains lead burite, only austenite changes. Here cementite remains as it is, and lead-burite changes into perlite and lead-burite. So these are the phases present at the room temperature. So we can calculate the percentages of the phases based on the Lever rule, and we can observe the presence of uh, phases based on the temperature also, and depending upon the temperature we will draw the horizontal line, and depending upon the composition we draw the vertical line, and based on the Lever rule we will find out the percentages present, percentages of the phases present at that particular temperature, and based on the percentages of the phases present the mechanical properties are changed. So this is the main important point. Based on the presence of the percentages of the phases, mechanical properties changes. Mechanical properties changes with respect to change in the grain size and the phases present in the grains. If we have ferrite grains, it is a soft material, and if we have perlite, it is strong. So based on the presence of the phase and two factors, previously we have discussed that the mechanical properties are changed or varied based on the grain size, and I also told you in that video, in that particular video, there is another factor which changes the mechanical properties. The other factor which changes the mechanical properties of the metal is the phases present. The amount of the phases present in that particular grain will also change the mechanical properties. So now what is that? Mechanical properties of any metal changes on two parameters. One is the grain size and the other is the phases present in the grain. So if we have perlite, then that is a strong phase and ferrite is the soft phase. So therefore the more percentage of perlite will give you strong material, and fine grain structures containing more percentage of perlite will further give you more strength to the material. So this is how the mechanical properties are changed, and further fine structure, dispersed structure of perlite is sorbite, and further fine structure of perlite is also called as strustite, and further fine structure of perlite is called as bainite, and upper bainite, that is upper bainite, and further fine which cannot be seen under microstructure is called as lower bainite structure, and after that we have martensitic structure. What we have is martensitic structure. So martensitic structure is a BCT, body center tetragonal crystal structure. It is the strongest phase which has high strength in all the other phases, and lead-burite is the reason for the strength or the hardness in cast irons, whereas perlite is the reason for the strength and hardness in the steels, and lead-burite in the cast irons. So based on the percentage of the presence of perlite and the structure of perlite, whether the structure of perlite is fine or coarse will decide the strength of the material. So what we have learned in this particular video session is the mechanical properties of a metal will change with respect to change in the grain size and also the presence of the phases. If the phase is changed from perlite to ferrite, then automatically the metal will become soft, and if the structure changes from ferrite to perlite, then the material will get strength there, that is, and if the structure of perlite changes from coarse to fine, then further increase in the strength takes place. So this is the main idea. So by changing the phases, but we can also change the phases by adding some alloying elements also. So we can design any metal based on based on the requirement, by taking soft metal, by changing the phases present in it, we can increase or improve the strength, or we can decrease the strength, or that in another sense we can increase the ductility, or we can increase the toughness, or we can increase strength, or that is we can reduce the ductility based on the phases. Cementite, the other compound, a compound that I didn't discuss so far is cementite. Cementite is a white color structure which acts like a cement between bricks. That is why it is named as cementite. Cementite is nothing but Fe3C. This Fe3C will act as the gum between the ferrite layers. Cementite is also a layer, so which will act like cement between the two layers of ferrite. So now we discussed about cement, and what do we have in leadburite? Leadburite is nothing but cement. It is the alternate layers of cementite and austenite. So here cementite will act as cementite between the two layers of austenite. So that is the main reason. Okay, so we discussed about cementite, we discussed about ferrite, we discussed about perlite, we discussed about austenite, and we discussed about the various phases present in the iron carbon diagram. We discussed about hypoeutectoid steels. We discussed about the phases present in the hypoeutectoid steels. What are the phases present in the hypoeutectoid steels? The phases that are present in the hypoeutectoid steels is ferrite plus perlite. So if we have more ferrite and less perlite, then that will be soft. The steel will be soft. If we have more perlite and less ferrite, then that steel will be more strong. That steel will have more strength. And if we have perlite and cementite, that metal will be brittle and strong, because the presence of cementite is a very brittle material. It is a compound, it is not metal. So therefore the presence of cementite should be less and the presence of perlite should be more, but the network of cementite will impart brittle in the steel. So we should not form a network of cementite at the grain boundaries area. So that is very important. So these are the classification of steels and the phases present in the steel. So if we have more percent, 100% of perlite is present at 0.8% carbon. 0.8% carbon steels will have 100% perlite. So therefore it is more strong, and that perlite, if it is fine, then it is called sorbite, and if it is further fine, it is called as trustite, and further fine, which you cannot see under microscope, is upper bainite, and further fine, it is lower bainite. And the next structure what we have is martensite. Martensite we will be discussing in the future classes. So now coming to the other portion is cast iron region. In cast iron region, irons containing less than 4.3% carbon is called as hypo, and more than 2% carbon is called as hypoeutectic cast iron, and it contains lead burite and cementite, and more lead burite then it is soft, and more cementite then it is brittle. So this is the difference. So hypereutectic cast irons will have more cementite and less lead burite, and whereas hypoeutectic cast irons will have less cementite and more lead burite. So this is the difference, and based on these phases the strength of the metals changes. So finally the presence of the phases and the size of the phases, uh, percentage of the phases and the size of the grains will change the mechanical properties of the metals. So this is a very brief about iron carbon and iron and iron carbide equilibrium diagram. So if we see the top left, it is shown as the graphite because the dashed lines indicates the decomposition of decomposition of cementite. We discussed in the early classes that cementite will get decomposed. So where exactly it gets decomposed is not known. So it is shown as the dashed line. So that is the main reason why it is shown as the dashed line. So therefore at the top right portion of this diagram shows that it is the decomposition of a ferrite with cementite. So these are the important points or salient points that we discuss that are involved in the iron carbon equilibrium diagram. So whatever I have discussed, so the same discussion is given here. The diagram shows three horizontal lines which indicates isothermal reactions, and it is the explanation of how the solubility is changing with respect to change in the temperature and the percentages of the carbon. The top left, liquid on cooling gives austenite plus austenite. Liquid plus delta iron on cooling gives austenite. That is pertectic reaction. The top left, and these are the various phases present in the areas: ACM line, A2 line and A3 line, A1 line, and different phases present at different regions. So based on the phases, we already discussed, based on the phases the mechanical properties are changed. So I hope you enjoyed the video session. We have completed the brief explanation about the iron and iron carbide equilibrium diagram and the salient features about this, and the allotropic changes of iron, and this carbon maximum solid solubility of carbon in alpha iron is 0.025 at 723 degrees centigrade, and in gamma iron is 2%. Gamma iron is 2%, and in delta iron is 0.1%. So then we have alpha iron phase, austenite phase, delta iron phase, and delta iron plus molten iron phase, and gamma iron plus molten liquid phase, and cementite plus molten liquid phase we have discussed. We'll be discussing about the reactions at various zones in the next video session. Thank you.